This object is simply a piece of another solar system that was expelled, and it has been traveling through interstellar space for what I'm about to show you is going to completely shatter everything you thought you knew about physics, space travel, and what's possible in our universe. Something absolutely impossible just happened in our solar system. And every major observatory, satellite, and space agency on Earth captured the exact same thing at the exact same time. The interstellar object known as 3I Atlas, which has been quietly traveling through space for millions of years, just did something that violates every law of physics we understand. I'm talking about instantaneous acceleration so dramatic that this object appeared to jump from one location in space to a completely different location in what seemed like the blink of an eye. One moment, 3I Atlas was following a predictable trajectory that we'd been tracking for months. The next moment, it was suddenly much closer to Earth than it should have been, traveling at speeds that make our fastest spacecraft look like they're standing still. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a telescope malfunction. This isn't a calculation error. Every satellite, every space telescope, every ground-based observatory that had eyes on 3I Atlas recorded the exact same impossible events simultaneously. The object that astronomers have been calling either the most fascinating comet ever discovered or possibly something far more extraordinary just demonstrated capabilities that challenge everything we know about how objects move through space. What makes this absolutely mind-blowing is that interstellar objects like 3I Atlas are supposed to be predictable. They follow the laws of orbital mechanics just like everything else in space. They don't suddenly accelerate without explanation. They don't change course dramatically. They certainly don't appear to teleport from one location to another as if someone hit a cosmic fast-forward button. But that's exactly what happened. And now scientists around the world are scrambling to understand how an object traveling at over 210,000 kilometers per hour could suddenly appear to have jumped forward in its orbit by what appears to be days or even weeks of normal travel time. The implications of what we witnessed are staggering, and they're forcing us to reconsider fundamental assumptions about physics, space travel, and the nature of interstellar objects. The discovery that changed everything. To understand why what happened to 3I Atlas is so extraordinary, we need to go back to when this mysterious object first entered our solar system. The story begins in 2019 when the Atlas telescope system in Hawaii detected something unusual moving through space. At first, astronomers thought they were looking at just another comet. But as they gathered more data, they realized they had discovered something unprecedented. 3I Atlas wasn't just any comet. It was an interstellar visitor, only the third confirmed object from outside our solar system ever detected passing through our cosmic neighborhood. Unlike the rocky asteroid Oumuamua that visited in 2017, or the more comet-like 2I Borisov that followed in 2019, 3I Atlas displayed characteristics that didn't fit neatly into either category. In diameter, it was substantially larger than Oumuamua but smaller than typical comets from our own solar system. What immediately caught astronomers' attention was its unusual composition and behavior. Unlike normal comets that develop bright tails as they approach the sun and volatile materials sublimate from their surfaces, 3I Atlas remained remarkably stable in appearance even as it traveled deeper into the inner solar system. Spectroscopic analysis revealed a surface composition unlike anything scientists had seen before. The object appeared to be made of materials that didn't match the chemical signatures of known comets, asteroids, or any other type of solar system body. Some researchers described the surface as having an almost metallic quality, while others noted unusual reflective properties that suggested a composition involving exotic materials not commonly found in natural space objects. What made 3I Atlas even more intriguing was its trajectory. While previous interstellar visitors had followed hyperbolic orbits that carried them quickly through our solar system and back into deep space, 3I Atlas appeared to be following a more complex path that brought it closer to Earth than initially calculated. The object's orbit suggested it had been traveling through interstellar space for potentially millions of years before arriving in our solar system. As months passed and observations continued, 3I Atlas began displaying behaviors that didn't match predictions based on conventional comet and asteroid physics. The object's rotation period seemed to change unpredictably, something that shouldn't happen to a solid body traveling through the vacuum of space. Its brightness variations followed patterns that suggested either a highly irregular shape or surface features that reflected light in ways that defied easy explanation. Most puzzling of all, 3I Atlas seemed to be accelerating slightly as it moved through space, gaining speed in a way that couldn't be explained by gravitational interactions with known objects in our solar system. This non-gravitational acceleration was reminiscent of Oumuamua's mysterious behavior, but the magnitude and pattern of the acceleration were different enough to suggest that whatever was causing it might be fundamentally different from the outgassing that scientists had theorized was responsible for Oumuamua's unusual movement. The impossible observation. The event that has shaken the scientific community to its core occurred during routine observations of 3I Atlas conducted by multiple space agencies and research institutions around the world. What should have been a standard tracking session to monitor the object's continued progress through our solar system instead became the most significant astronomical observation of the century. At precisely 1432 Universal Coordinated Time on the date of the observation, every telescope, satellite, and observatory that was monitoring 3I Atlas recorded something that should be physically impossible. In the span of what appeared to be mere seconds, the object's position in space changed so dramatically that it seemed to have instantly jumped forward along its orbital path by a distance that should have taken weeks of normal travel to cover. The Hubble Space Telescope, which had been conducting detailed observations of the object as part of a comprehensive study of interstellar visitors, captured high-resolution images showing 3I Atlas in one location at 1432 and 15 seconds Universal Time Coordinated, and then in a completely different location at 1432 and 47 seconds Universal Time Coordinated. The timestamps on these images, verified through multiple independent systems, show that the object appeared to traverse a distance of several million kilometers in just 32 seconds. Ground-based observatories around the world confirmed the same impossible observation. The Very Large Telescope in Chile, the Keck Observatory in Hawaii, and radio telescope arrays across multiple continents all recorded the same dramatic positional change at exactly the same time. The consistency of these observations across different types of instruments, different locations on Earth, and different observational techniques ruled out the possibility of equipment malfunction or human error. What made the observation even more extraordinary was that the apparent teleportation wasn't random. 3I Atlas didn't jump to an arbitrary location in space. It moved along its predicted orbital path but covered a distance instantaneously that should have taken approximately 3 weeks of normal travel time. It was as if someone had fast-forwarded the object's movement through space while leaving everything else in the universe unchanged. The European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft, which specializes in precise astrometric measurements, provided additional confirmation of the impossible event. Gaia's instruments, capable of measuring stellar positions to unprecedented accuracy, recorded the same dramatic change in 3I Atlas's position with precision that eliminated any possibility of observational error. The data showed that the object's apparent velocity during the teleportation event briefly exceeded 50,000 km per second, more than 15% of the speed of light. NASA's Deep Space Network, which monitors objects throughout the solar system using radar and radio techniques, also detected the anomalous event. Their data showed that during the brief period when 3I Atlas appeared to teleport, the object's radar signature became temporarily undetectable, as if it had briefly ceased to exist in normal spacetime before reappearing in its new location.